Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my golf friend. Welcome back to Think Above Par. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And guess what? The music's back. If you listened to last week's episode, it was about me taking the music off or not. And I had some people tell me, oh, thank gosh, I have to fast forward through it. And I've had some people who have been listening to my podcast from the beginning and just saying that the music is reassuring to them and brings a smile to their face and they like it and it's back. And I figured, you know what? Worst case scenario, you can just fast forward through my music a little bit. But until I change it, I'm bringing it back on. So thank you for the people who listened to that podcast last week about my music. I appreciate all the feedback and knowing that you're actually listening and paying attention to those little small details of me flapping about my intro. So today I wanted to talk to you about your brain failing you and doing this work and what it really entails and what it's about. I've had a couple people come to me feeling like they've not necessarily gone backwards, but they're just failing at this when previously they have had success. And so I want to talk about it because when things come to me in patterns, a lot of repetition about this, then to me, it's like a sign that I need to do an episode on it. And I've had 3 or 4 people bring it up to me in different conversations, whether it's in your mental caddy, which is group conversations, or in some of my private clients. This is what it sounds like. I was doing really well. I was doing all this work and this practice, and now I'm not. I can't manage my mind. It's overwhelming, or my brain is too busy. My brain's just so negative. When we feel like we had a grasp of it maybe last month or earlier in the season or even last year, and now you just feel the negativity of your brain and you feel like it's not working or you're not working it or you're not having success. And this is what I want to tell you / remind you, because I'm sure I've talked about this somewhere on a podcast. You are working against your brain every single day. Every day. Your brain has a thing called a negativity bias. You wake up every morning scanning for negative things. Sorry, it's part of being the human species. And I want to explain it to you so you understand it, so you can give yourself a little grace in understanding what your brain is doing. Because when you are the witnesser of your brain, you are so much more empowered than when you feel like you're at the effect of your brain. Okay, so your brain has 3 jobs prehistorically. When we came onto this planet as a species, we had 3 things, it's called the motivational triad, to keep us alive. We are built for survival, to survive as a species. The first one was to seek pleasure, which means we are designed to want to eat food. We want to like food so that we would eat and stay alive, and sex so that we would procreate and stay alive as a species. We do want to seek pleasure in golf. That's why we like it. We like birdies. We like hitting good shots. We're seeking that. Part of our primitive design. The second thing is to conserve energy, which basically I want you to think of it as create habits. And when we create a habit, our brain can conserve energy to scan the ways that we could not survive as a species. So we don't want to wake up every day and try and figure out what the heck this thing is in front of us. We don't want it to be Groundhog Day. It's like, oh, this is a table. I'm going to put this on autopilot so I don't have to think about it every day. If you do something enough times, if you repeat it enough times, your brain's like, I see you do this a lot. I'm going to put this over on autopilot so I can save energy, so I can scan for saber-toothed tigers and ways that we're going to get kicked out of the tribe. So we create habits. The problem with that is when we want to break a habit, our brain's like, no, that takes too much energy. I don't want to do that. I need to keep scanning for different ways that we're going to be in trouble. And so if you divert my attention over here to break a habit, you feel like something's wrong because it takes a lot of energy, mental energy, to break a habit. And your brain is going to talk you out of it because it thinks it has a bigger job to do, keep you alive. Okay, this is why a lot of people don't change, is because the amount of energy it takes to actually change is uncomfortable and people don't want to go through the discomfort of change. The third thing that your brain is designed to do is to scan for danger, to keep you safe, to keep you alive. So it comes out of the cave in the morning, it scans the universe for different ways that we're going to either run out of food, like there's going to be some kind of saber-tooth tiger, prehistoric hyena that's going to eat us, or that we're going to get kicked out of the tribe
Because if we got kicked out of the tribe, then we'd have to be on our own fighting all these elements out here. And then we would be not safe and we would not survive. Right? Okay, we don't have those elements now, but your brain wakes up and it still scans for different things that are negative in our universe by default. It's called the negativity bias. It does not wake up and look at all the blessings, because if you were a caveman or cavewoman and you walked out of the cave and you're like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful day. It's like, look at the daisies and it's nice, it's sunny, and look at that cute little tiger over there playing. And then you got eaten by something from behind because you weren't paying attention, right? It's just not designed to do that. We have to do that on purpose. We have to do that intentionally. And we have to be aware of our brain being negative every day. I'm so sorry to say that, but that's the way that we're designed. Even though with the best of intentions, we can say, I've been doing this work, and meaning managing your thoughts and your emotions, and I was doing so well, I thought I had it. So I just kind of cruised along. Well, you might have, and it might have been great, but the minute something came up, all of a sudden, all these negative thoughts came back, and you're like, what's wrong with me? Why am I broken? It didn't work. It didn't have legs. I didn't learn the skills. I failed you, Kathy. I had someone say that to me. And I want to tell you, you have not. You're a human with a human brain. And we have to be onto that you are working against your own brain's negativity every single day. And when you can reassure it that everything is fine and that you've got it and it's under control, and you decide what you want to think instead, then you're not at the effect of the negativity of your own brain, and you're not at the effect of your brain. You're in the driver's seat, so to speak. So it is not unusual for you to have periods of time where you feel like you've got it all figured out and things are going good. You have your green light days and you go and you kind of lay down a little bit. And next thing you know, you've created a new habit, a bad habit, because you've let a negative thought get repeated over and over again. So it went on autopilot, or you're just noticing all your thoughts so much more and they seem so negative and you're feeling crappy. Or you tell the story that you're just a negative person. Right now you start identifying as a person that's just negative. I'm negative every day. I'm always looking at the negative things in life. This can be true for everybody, but you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. So you get to witness all of those negative thoughts, and then you get to decide what you want to think on purpose. But if you witness and hear all of your thoughts and you think you have to think them, then you're going to feel pretty negative a lot of the time because there's a lot of negative thoughts. So this is what I wanted you to get out of this episode, is that your brain has 3 really primitive functions. That's why I'm trying always to get you out of the back part of your brain where we go into fight or flight, where it's negative. When we jump onto the golf course and we stand on that first tee, we see all kinds of danger. Now, we're not looking at things that are going to kill us like wild animals. What we're seeing is places that we're going to have emotional or social pain, which your brain perceives as a threat to our life and our species. It doesn't know whether you're going to get taken out by a wild animal. That's a threat to survival. Or you're going to have humiliation. That is also a threat to survival. So your brain stands on the first tee and it scans for all those things. It looks at the water. It looks at the out of bounds. It looks at the people. You worry about what other people think because you don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. And if you can reassure your brain and say, I'm fine and I'm safe, this is not a problem, then it's easier to manage your mind. But if you buy into all of that, if you shake your own hamster cage, as I like to say, and you freak yourself out, then you're going to have more things to manage. And that's why it's very hard for us to get up into the front part of our brain where we can make really good decisions and think clearly, is because we might experience failure or humiliation or embarrassment. We might hit it in the water. And because we've made that such a big thing emotionally, our brain is trying to protect us and it becomes very negative. Right? So I want you to be onto your brain. And I also want you to know that, unfortunately, this takes consistency. It takes daily practice. It takes daily observation. Just like if you were a serious golfer and you practiced every week and you were in tournament season and you took 2 weeks off from practicing your skill, you wouldn't be very comfortable with that. And the reason you wouldn't be very comfortable with that is because you would be worried that old habits would creep back in. This is the same with working on your brain, being intentional about what you want to think, being the witnesser of your brain, working on your self-awareness, which is the biggest, most powerful skill that you could possibly have. So we wouldn't do that relative to our golf game because of the habits and the work that it would take to fix a habit that wasn't very good relative to the game of golf. but we'll do it with our brain. And the same thing is happening. So if you have found so much success in the past, and then you go through a period where you're like, wait a minute, like what the hell is going on in my head? I feel like I lost everything. I feel like I'm negative all over again. I have new thoughts that aren't serving me. My brain is freaking out a little bit. You found that you stopped doing the things that were working and you kind of sat back and was enjoying easy street, so to speak. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute. You mean I have to keep working on this stuff? Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. I wish I could tell you that there's a point you just own it and you never have to do it again. But golf is also like that. We never own golf. We're constantly working at it. And I was on a call this morning where I likened it to practicing, like practicing law or practicing medicine. We're practicing golf. There is no end to it. We don't reach it. We're like, I'm good. Right? It's not like we cleaned a closet and like it's clean. Right? On to the next thing. It's a practice. And so is working on your brain. So is being intentional about your thoughts and witnessing your brain and managing your emotions, because you're going to consistently have new experiences in life that are going to shake your hamster cage, and you get to practice it. And you're going to wake up every day with a negative bias, scanning for the things that are all going to go wrong, unfortunately. And you get to pivot and reassure your brain everything is fine, and this is what I want to think about it. All right, my friends, if you have not checked out Your Mental Caddy, this is where we talk about these things. We work on them and we practice it and we create those habits every week. I would love to see you in there. And the easiest and fastest way for you to get engaged is to go to school.com/Your Mental Caddy. And you can get an idea about what the new community is looking like. All right. I'd love to see you in there. All right, my friends, have a beautiful week and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.